Good afternoon from Hill to City. I'm Pastor Margie Gonzalez, and I want to bring you another Take 5 segment. Today I want to read out of Psalm 119, verses 49 through 50. It says, "Remember your promise to me. It is my only hope. Your promise revives. It comforts me in all my troubles." Every human being in the world needs hope for the future. Hope is what helps us wake up in the morning. It's what motivates us and keeps us going. And for the believer, that hope is found in God's promise. And the truth is that God's promises are the only promises we can rely on because He is entirely faithful. And this verse teaches us that God's promise revives us. When we need hope, we should remind ourselves of God's promise because God's promise gives us something to look forward to. Verse 49 here says, "Remember your promise to me, it is my only hope." As I mentioned, we are built to hope. We were created to hope. And when we have no hope or nothing to look forward to, we tend to give up. We stop trying, we stop caring about life, and we even despair of life. But God's promise gives us something to look forward to. It gives us a dream to go after. And the writer here is simply reminding God about the promise He made. And it's okay to remind God about what He promised you. In fact, you can remind God because when you remind God what He promised, you're reminding yourself that you have a promise to look forward to. And the psalmist here says, that promise that you made me is my only hope. See, people make a lot of promises, but the only promise we can trust is God's promise. Numbers 23:19 says, "God is not a man, so He does not lie. He is not human, so He does not change His mind. Has He ever spoken and failed to act? Has He ever promised and not carried it through?" You see, God's promises can be trusted, and therefore we can hope in them. Verse 50 then goes on, and it says, "Your promise revives me. It comforts me in all my troubles." See, this verse tells us that God's promise revives. In other words, it gives us a reason to live again. To revive means to give life again. It means to make life vital again, or to restore life, to restore strength. It means to motivate to live again. So sometimes life on earth actually drains the God-given life out of us. Let me say that again. Life as we know it here on earth actually drains the God-given spiritual life out of us. See, life on earth here, the obligations, the constant striving, the hustle and the bustle tend to make us take our eyes off what God promised us. And the things of this life suck the hope right out. They take all our energy. But when we learn to focus on God's promise, it not only reminds us of our hope for tomorrow, it comforts us in all our troubles. God's promise comforts me and reminds me that things won't always be this bad. Things won't always be so hard. God will turn it around. God's promise reminds me that I have things to look forward to, better things, eternal things. And so today I challenge you to refocus your hope on God's promises because they will renew your hope and they will revive you, giving you a future to look forward to. God bless you. God is. Todo ser humano en el mundo necesita esperanza para el futuro. Es lo que nos ayuda a despertarnos en la mañana.